Welcome, everybody, to the first ever edition of the Power Club podcast. I am Jose Hardbody. This is the new podcast I'm starting, and I'm absolutely excited. My name is Jose Hardbody. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jose Hardbody. I have Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all the good stuff. And today, our very first guest on our very first ever podcast is the incredible, the supremely talented, the phenomenal KiKi Kannon. So I'm gonna bring her into the podcast now, and we'll start our conversation with her. So KiKi, are you there? She's here, but hey,
Hey everybody.
Hey, what's going on, KiKi?
Hey.
If you don't mind, tell everybody who you are. Talk a little bit about yourself.
I'm KiKi Kannon. I am mostly known as a cosplayer.
Yes, KiKi Kannon is an incredible cosplayer. So just to give you guys a little bit of history, I actually saw, and this is like a little tidbit of information. The first time I saw KiKi Kannon was at Florida SuperCon in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yeah, and then I saw that she streamed on Twitch. I started viewing her Twitch, and then we sort of became friends. And speaking of cosplay, the first thing I wanted to sort of get into is like with cosplay, what actually first got you into cosplay?
Oh man. This is a weird question for me because it's weird how I guess I got into cosplay because I didn't know cosplay was a thing.
Oh, okay.
I I didn't know it existed. So like for me, I saw a character that I liked.
Hmm.
And it was like basic clothing. So, for example, like Battle Royale. I don't know if you know the movie Battle Royale,
Yeah. Yep.
but it's kind of just school outfits or whatever. Well, I will like a show or something, and then I would make the outfit subtle enough to where I could just like wear it to school.
Oh, wow.
Um, I don't know why I did that.
Wow. So
It just kind of happened until I discovered it was an actual thing, and I think I felt less weird. I
yeah.
think it's just
Okay.
something I wanted to do like innately for some
Just
reason.
just something you're naturally into. So it wasn't like nowadays cosplays is a thing. Like there's a category
I
and there's contests and everything. So like people today could see, oh, that's cosplay. I want to get into that. When you got into it, it wasn't really like a thing at the time.
No, it was. I just didn't know
You
that it
didn't know.
was.
Okay. Okay.
Cosplay's been around forever. I guess I don't know. Some people consider like Halloween cosplay, but like I don't know. It just feels different. I guess.
Okay. Yes. I mean, I can see that. I my so my niece wanted me to go to the Florida SuperCon with her, and she was dressing as Moana, and I was like, "Hey, I'll dress as Maui," and I and I didn't know what I was doing. And I bought an outfit. I didn't make anything. I bought an outfit off of Amazon, and it was like $25. It was real bad. And then my mom was like, "Yo, you should get this grass stuff from the arts and crafts store and put it around your waist to make like the little skirt thing." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, that's a great idea." And then we put it together, and it looked terrible. It was like absolutely terrible. But when I went to
Oh
Florida
man.
SuperCon and we were dressed up, it was actually a lot of fun, and I was actually surprised at how much fun I had, because I just had
Yeah, it's
like,
fun.
yeah, it was absolutely incredible. And then you go, for me at least, seeing the amount of work people put into their cosplay and their craft is like mind blowing. Because
Right.
you have people like me who buy $25 Amazon outfits and walk around looking dumb, but then you have people who really put a lot of work into effort and really know what they're doing, like yourself. And seeing that stuff is always absolutely like incredible.
I think like seeing like everybody at the shows though just do characters that people like is just the point of it. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I also like seeing stuff that I have no clue what it is. Like one of the cons we went to, they had a whole group of people who did like really detailed World of Warcraft cosplay. And I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was, but it looked like these people jumped right out of like a comic book or a movie or something, and they were just
Right.
walking around. It's just it's absolutely crazy.
I mean,
The
cosplay is the biggest it's ever been.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly, I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, like I don't know this because it's more your realm. But is that cosplay right now is the biggest it's ever been?
I mean, yeah, I would say so. for sure. I mean, I started in 2003, but cosplays existed like since like what, like the 70s or something, or the 60s.
Oh, I really?
Yeah,
That's a
people would dress up like Star Wars and all kinds of stuff, like Trek conventions, like Star Trek. So
true.
it's been around for a really long time, but there was like a burst when anime and stuff started hitting, right? That's kind of like when I got into it, and then that created a whole nother generation of cosplayers, and then it just exploded at one point.
Okay. So when is there any point where you were like, so you got into it in 2003? That's at least okay. Is there any point where you were like, this is what I want to do? Like, I don't want to work. I don't want uh to be a lawyer. I don't want to be like, I don't want to do anything. Like, this is the thing. I love it, and I can, do this as a career.
I mean, it was never like my intent. It was always like a hobby. I actually went to school and got a degree in animation because I wanted to be an animator.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I studied Japanese for like 5 years, and I was going to move to Japan.
What? What?
But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
I had no clue. That's crazy. I like that a lot.
yeah, but cosplay started to explode, and so I just stuck around to just see where it was going to go.
Okay.
And then eventually I saw other creators that were making props and doing prop work and being able to make a living off of that. And so I thought that I would give it a go.
Now, when you first started getting into making your own stuff, did you feel confident? Was it just fun, or were you like, I'm pretty good at this. I wanna keep doing it.
No, I wasn't good at it. When I started, I was a kid, and like there wasn't like tutorials. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't know how to do anything at all, whatever. So I just made a lot of crap. But like I liked it.
Yeah, I
And
think.
eventually the crap got less crappy. And
Yeah.
so I
Okay.
just kept doing it. It was just enjoyable. I didn't really have any other thoughts about it.
Right.
Um, but I like since I started cosplaying, I actually started competing like kind of around like I didn't really do very well, particularly at first, or not for a really long time actually. But I like competing and I like the competition. It made me become better.
Okay. And were you ever so when you first got into it and you started competing and not being good? Um, did that ever deter you, or did that make like for me, not being good at stuff uh makes me more motivated to get better. Like if people like you suck, you're absolutely trash. I go, okay, well, I'm gonna show you that I might suck today, and I might suck like 2 months or 3 months from now. I might suck a year from now. Get, I'm gonna get it though. I'm just gonna keep working towards it. I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna turn around and you're gonna see that like if you put in the work, and you don't get deterred and you stay determined, you can do it. So like, did you ever feel like was there a point where you were like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is too hard, or were you always just like motivated to do it?
I mean, not competing's never really made me want to quit making cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it definitely is a motivator when you don't really do as well as you could. But I think it's a good way. Like oddly enough, like competing is a good way to meet other like-minded cosplayers. And in a lot of senses, you can make friends through the competition circuit
Uh,
and find other people that are like the same mindset as you about cosplay, right? Because people cosplay for different reasons. So like somebody who wants to compete at a high level feels a certain way about cosplay that other people that compete do, and there's not very many of us.
right, I could see that. I could see like when I first got into powerlifting and I wanted to do my first competition just to see how it was. I didn't expect to win. I didn't expect to do well at all. I thought, like my numbers weren't there. I was absolutely trash. But the cool thing was that when I went to my first competition, as nervous and as I was, and like, as bad as I knew I was gonna do, the people that were there were like very supportive. They were like, "No, we get what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
You've been putting
that's
in the
good.
work. Just do the best you can, and you'll be all right." And it was such a crazy feeling. When I did my final lift, the numbers weren't really that big, but it was a
Yeah.
it was a personal best for me, and the
Yeah.
people in the room were like actually excited for me. It was a crazy feeling, and it felt good to
Yeah.
be surrounded by people that were into the same thing. They understand what you're going through.
Right.
They sort of get you, and it's like you don't really find that like in your day to day. At least for me, um, most of the people I talk to at work and like going around town they aren't into the same stuff, so I can't really connect on that level. So I could see, yeah, I could see how competing, even if you're not, you know, going for starting out going for like wins or anything, like you get into that community and meet people. So that's actually cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a good group of people, they just want you to be your best and they want everybody to be their best. And, like it's more about the journey than like winning, I guess. And I think it's like your own personal experience through competing is personal to you as a creator of like how far you've come.
Right?
You
Yeah,
know,
I agree with that too. Like, yeah, I'm just seeing as you talk, I'm seeing parallels with lifting because that's where I competed and put myself out there. And for me, it was just like I want to see how I just want to beat myself. I never planned on beating anybody else. That was my motivation every time. But then you had other people who were like these lifting demons who were just like demolishing everything. And when they were there, they wanted to they weren't there to make friends. They were there to like destroy the competition. And
yeah,
they were friendly and everything. But it's just everybody had their own little
right.
their own motivation, but everybody still got along. So it was always cool. It was always very very cool. So, do you remember by any chance what your first costume was? Your first, I think you just talked about it, right? The
Yeah, well, I would have sent you a picture, but yeah, so what I consider my first costume was Battle Angel Alita,
hmm
because that character really reminded me of myself.
oh, did
She's a very like strong, determined character,
so here
has a deep history.
sort of a sidetrack. Did you like the movie? Did you watch the Battle Angel Alita movie?
No, actually, I have all the manga. It's like my favorite manga, and I love James Cameron, and he didn't disappoint me.
Oh, okay.
They did change stuff, but I see why they did for the movie, but like I appreciated it, and there's a lot of elements they added that I appreciated as a fan of Battle Angel.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I wasn't familiar with the manga and I've never seen the anime or anything, but I watched the movie and I enjoyed the movie a lot. I thought the movie was really good. So I'm only bringing it up because they went on Twitter, I want to say, and they said if you like the movie, like openly support the movie and let people know about the movie because they want to
Yeah.
make a part two, but the first movie didn't make as much as they wanted it to.
Well, it
Um,
was a super expensive to make, but as an anime adaptation, it's the best anime adaptation ever created, in my opinion.
yeah, no, it's absolutely phenomenal, and like
It's
when
the
you
most accurate, or like the best done, the best justice to it.
yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
cheesy and like bad like some other movie. I'm not gonna name movies, but I've seen other live action. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna name one movie, the Dragon Ball Z live action
I
movie.
avoided seeing that
It
because
is.
I heard horror stories.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. As a person who grew up loving Dragon Ball Z and like being into all things Dragon Ball, when they announced that movie, I was excited. I was like, "Oh man, a live action Dragon Ball movie." But then when they started showing stuff about the movie, I was like, "This is absolutely terrible. What are they thinking? They're gonna ruin this. It's gonna be trash." Before the movie even came out, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were convinced it was bad because it looked like whoever was making the
Yeah,
movie didn't even like the material. Like they were changing so much stuff. Piccolo in that movie, like he was like wearing like a trench
I
coat.
didn't watch any of it. A
Yeah, no,
trench coat, really?
yeah, it was bad. He was like a black leather trench coat looking thing. It's weird. It's terrible. It's not a good.
Okay, no, I almost want to watch it because it sounds weird.
Yeah, I mean, you might get a kick out of how bad it is and how much they mess it up. Um, but yeah, it's not good.
Hmm.
So do you happen to know, or do you feel like there was one costume that was the most difficult for you to work on?
Call Teros.
Okay, okay, well, okay, okay. So before we get into that, okay, so my another thing I want to talk about with you is um Twitch. Like what got you into Twitch first? Because for me, I personally did not know what Twitch was. My brother-in-law Jr. actually I think introduced me to Twitch, and he would talk about it all the time and tell me he watched people on Twitch, and I was just never into it. And I would
Yeah.
stream like on and off, like just for my friends. And I didn't really take it serious until like last year. But I feel like not even until like last year did I really start realizing what Twitch was. When I
Right.
started taking it more serious. So for you and your experience, like how were you introduced to Twitch, and what made you like get into it and want to be a streamer and everything?
I think I first saw it because the advertisement for the costume contest, previous year. I
Hmm.
wanted to actually compete the previous year, but there was a long series of events, uh, and I had to take a break from Twitch for like 6 months before I was able to like come back at the start of this January. So that's probably when I like really started streaming, I guess.
Okay. So what like what what do you think
What
makes
makes me
you,
stay?
yeah, what makes you stay, what makes you want to be a streamer on Twitch, or what makes you want to stay on Twitch?
Well, I don't really do a lot of conventions anymore, and Twitch is like pretty much like I mean, I work in my studio all day, so I'm like just hang out on Twitch. Twitch is like my last connection to the outside world. I don't
Okay.
know if that's a good thing, but
Yeah.
I don't really socialize in any other way very often. So
Okay.
like just Twitch chat.
Yeah, and you work, okay, so and I don't know if people know this, and I'm assuming there's going to be people listening that this is their first time being introduced to you. You run a shop, right? And
Yeah,
you do,
and studios.
yeah, yeah, Canon Studios. And so can you explain a little bit about that, because I think that would help explain like, or help people understand why you are always working in your shop, you know?
Yeah, so I sell on Etsy and I make a variety of like accessories for costumes and cosplay. Sometimes I do commissions, it depends what it is. And then I started making some more decor inspired things recently.
And you've told me you don't have like a normal 9 to 5. You don't have a boss. Like you run everything yourself. You're your own boss, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I always thought that was cool because being somebody who's like creative and gets a little bit rebellious when people tell me what to do. Like going, I have a 9 to 5. I have a day job. So
Yeah,
like sometimes when I'm at work and my boss is like, "Hey Jose, you need to do this." Just my natural reaction is just I want to like say something stupid to him, but I watch it because that could get me in trouble. So no, I think being your own boss, running your own studio, you stream all the time. I like your setup right now. It actually looks like really good, even though
yeah,
it's
this is my other room.
yeah. So
Uh,
this is the first time I saw it, and when I saw it, I was like, "This is cool."
and
Like,
there's a cat.
yeah.
Remember?
So what? And so you sell stuff on your store. What's the website for your store? In case anybody's interested in reaching out.
I mean, you can find it on my just website, kikikannon.com, or on Etsy, I'm Canon Studios. But on my website, also links my Etsy and everything.
Okay, awesome. Um, so with Kolv Teroth, which you mentioned earlier, I just wanted to hold off and sort of talk about Twitch before we got into it, because this is the stuff that I'm interested in a lot. Because I saw you working on this stuff, toiling away, just working real hard. Um,
I don't know how my cat's doing. I'm sorry.
oh, it's fine. It's fine. So with TwitchCon 2019, let's talk about that. So what inspired you to pick Kolv Teroth for your project for TwitchCon?
Uh, well, it was definitely challenging and it had a lot going on. It had a lot of different materials. So, like, when I pick a costume for a competition, will be completely different than what I would pick, like, for something for fun. So, when you're like competing, I have to think about, I wanted personally to choose something that had, oh, everything going on. So, with the costume contest, you can pick your category like armor, needlework, larger than life, or special effects. So I went for the armor category, and they'll choose like 4 people to become finalists out of everyone who submits in your category. And I wanted to pick something obviously that had a lot of armor because I felt like that was my strength. And then sorry, my cat.
It's
I don't know what she's doing.
fine.
And then I wanted to also incorporate like that I could do other things and not just armor, like with sewing. I don't know, larger than life is, but I don't know. And I'm a prop maker, so I had to add in, you know, what prop, and it was definitely the hardest prop I've ever made. I don't have a lot of time for personal projects, so for me, this is something that I haven't really done in many, many, many years of like just making something for me. And so I just wanted to put everything in it to show people that I could make something because I haven't been able to. And so it was like, I don't know, an opportunity, I guess.
Yeah. So
I
no, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, sorry. Sorry if I went on a tangent there.
No, no. That I mean, that's what we're here for. I want you to, feel free to speak about anything you want to talk about because this is interesting to me. I don't know anything about cosplay. I don't know. When I saw you were entering TwitchCon, I did not even know there was a cosplay contest at TwitchCon
Yeah,
because TwitchCon to
there's
me,
another cosplay contest for Amsterdam.
yeah, and
And
yeah, you were telling me that Amsterdam was going to be a cosplay contest.
so if you submit by March 2nd, that's when the deadline is
Yeah, so
to apply.
anybody out there that's into cosplay, like, there you go,
The
TwitchCon
winner,
Amsterdam.
the winner of that contest actually gets a trip to compete in the San Diego contest.
What? What? That's
Yeah,
okay. That's sort of crazy. Uh,
so I don't know if you win twice. I mean,
yeah. So you have the opportunity to win twice in 1 year.
I guess so. Yeah,
That's insane. That
it is
if somebody pulls that off, that's pretty wild. So
double champion.
so TwitchCon, are you planning on going to TwitchCon Amsterdam at all?
For like just going.
Yeah, just going.
What is
Or
wrong with my face?
there's nothing wrong with your face.
Oh, is it my camera? Like for me, everything is like freaking out, so I didn't know if that's what it looked like
No,
on
no,
stream.
your camera looks great on stream. It's absolutely
Okay, your
fine.
your face is like freaking out too. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's just my natural face. That's I have to live with that, so that's okay.
I don't know if you see what I'm seeing right now.
No, I don't see what you're saying. It looks fine on this end.
You don't even know right now. Okay, I'm like either that or I just took LSD and I forgot. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to be going because it's pretty expensive, you know.
Right. Yeah, I mean TwitchCon itself for me, for like a broke boy, I look at the prices and everything and I was like, I want to go, but it's expensive.
Oh
It,
yeah, just apply to another country. But if you do get to be a finalist in the contest, they do give you money to actually travel to compete there.
yeah, yeah, so let's double back. Okay, so TwitchCon, with TwitchCon 2019, you picked your project, right?
Yeah.
Um and
You don't have to be done when you submit. You just have to be like mostly done. And I was not mostly done when I submitted.
yeah, so can you
So
explain
I
that?
was
Because
surprised I got in
yeah, yeah, so
first round.
at the point where you submitted to be entered into TwitchCon, like,
Yeah,
if you could give a percentage, how much percent done were you with your outfit or your cosplay?
like 25%.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So how
Yeah,
so
I was freaking out.
yeah, I was freaking out from excitement when I saw that you got entered into TwitchCon.
Like some
Um,
people celebrated that day, and I was like, oh my God.
you were like,
I was I was in panic. I was like, oh my God.
you're like, now that
This
I'm in,
is,
now the work begins. Like I have no time to waste.
I mean, I already felt like that way. Like I was already tired. Like I wanted to quit like 50 times, probably or plus.
Yeah, yeah. I remember. See, and that's what I admire about, and I feel like, you know, seeing you before you won on Twitch, you'd be working in your shop and just like
It
working
was
away.
so
And there's
hard.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee. And that's the thing that I might. There's no guarantee that you were gonna win. Um,
right?
and you just went for it, like absolutely went for it. And like I remember talking to you, and it was like up to the last day, like like that day, you were still like working on stuff.
I worked on it until the day before the contest, 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely
Yeah,
insane.
I was in my hotel room, like just finishing stuff.
You
So like my swords took way longer than I thought they were going to because of a lot of reasons, you know. And I like assembled them before I was ready to like fly out to go to the hotel. And it was already like too late, right? So they ended up being a lot heavier than I thought they were going to be anticipated. They ended up being like 5 pounds a piece. But I did so much work to get to that point, I couldn't go back. So I'm in like the hotel courtyard the day before, trying to like practice with these heavy ass swords because I have stage fright. So I'm like in a constant state of panic before
yeah.
the next day. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. So like my horns are magnetized on my head. I screwed, I have magnets, I sewed on my wig so that there wouldn't be a band or anything. So they would just look, I didn't want any bands or anything. And I was nervous when I moved my sword. I'm gonna, I'm worried I was gonna smack my horn, was gonna go flying off and hit somebody or something because I've done something like that before. And luckily, as I put my sword up, it like hit the tip of my horn. And if you watch the playback, it like bobbled a little bit and then luckily did not fall off my head. I was
uh,
like, thank God.
yeah, that's insane. Uh, and so, like, how long were you working on your cosplay for TwitchCon? Because I feel like it was like a real long time, like months that you worked
Yeah,
on it.
I would say like 4 months, but then like it was weird because I knew that I normally sleep a decent amount, but I knew that I had to cut many hours out of my sleep and I actually had to stop working, which was going to cost me money, but I said, fuck it. Um, so I literally just didn't work for like a month too to make it. But my sleep schedule was super weird because I was like, okay, well, if I can't sleep, I'm just going to work. And if I'm tired, I'll like sleep, but only for like a couple hours. So I was only sleeping for like a couple hours at a time. And I would try to only sleep like maybe 5 hours a day or less. So I would just sit down and I would like fall asleep for like 15 minutes and then wake up and then go back to work.
And you did this for months
Yeah, I did this for months.
while streaming. That it's it's just it's crazy to me. Like it's
Toward
just
the end, I was so stressed out. I like just didn't even get fully dressed in the day, so I just stopped streaming. I was just like wear the same shirt for like 3 days at one point. I just didn't care. I
yeah,
just was like, no, I want to do this.
yeah, but you were in the zone. You were absolutely like focused, 100%.
It got to a point where it was like so much pressure, right? Because like you can't back out now. And I was doing all this stuff I didn't know how to do, and I was freaking out because I got to a point where I made all this chainmail, and this was towards the end, so I think I was gonna have like a panic attack. And I did all this chainmail. It was like 200 plus hours of chainmail. Originally, I don't know if you guys know what Clove Tarot looks like, but
I can pull
the,
up a picture
it
if you want me to pull up
covered
the
pretty
picture.
much half my body. So without it, I wouldn't have a costume. And for a while, I was worried I wasn't going to have a full costume for a long time. And so I had to completely scrap all the scale mail I made and come up with a new way to make the scales completely different from scratch. And it took a lot of work, and I was terrified I wasn't going to get it done. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I had to scrap and try to figure out. And that's why I was in, toward the end, it kind of got a little rough. But I think I was trying to do a lot of things, you know, also that I didn't know how to do. And
It paid off though. You really went hard, and it paid off at the end. So we were on my channel. I was watching TwitchCon live, and
yeah,
I remember I had the time wrong. So somebody actually came in my channel and was like, "KiKi Kannon is on stage right now," and I was like, "No, she's not." I was like, Stop lying to me, you idiots," because I get trolled so much. I was like, "No, she's not." But
yeah, your channel does troll you a lot.
part of me was like, well, you know what, I should check this out because they might not be trolling, and they kept saying it like, "She's live now, you idiot, you stupid idiot, she's live now." And I was like, all right, let me see. And then I saw that the contest was live, and I was like, oh snap, here we go. So seeing it live, it looked like there were a lot of people there. Like, how nerve-wracking was that to walk up on that stage, TwitchCon
Oh no, I was
2019?
scared. I have really big stage fright. So that's another thing I was scared about is like not even necessarily there's a lot of people, but like it was like live for whatever reason, made me more nervous. I don't know
Oh,
why.
okay,
Just the
yeah.
idea that it's like broadcasted. I'm a pretty uh shy person, I guess.
Hey, I would be nervous too. As like, you're right. It's live. There were like tens
I
of
feel like
thousands.
I look like a deer in headlights probably.
Nah, you were fine. There were tens of thousands of people watching live on Twitch, and you were in this cosplay contest. I remember sitting in my chair watching it, like, yo, this is. I was just like absolutely mind blown because I knew you were going. I knew you had gotten in. I knew that you know, I had seen some of your stuff before you got there, but it's like once you were actually there. As like a I turned into like a fanboy. Once you're actually there, I was like, yo, this is so crazy. She's
Yeah.
on stage right now. How crazy is this? And I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Um, and you
Yeah,
were
because I think how we met was really interesting, right? Because the first time you saw me, I was in like a wrestling thing,
right, yeah,
and
yeah.
then
You were in
and then
the
you found my Twitch, so I'd hang out in your Twitch, and then it just kind of, I don't know.
right, right. Because I think when we first started talking to each other on Twitch, we were both fairly new to streaming. So
Yeah,
for me, it was like, oh, this is cool. This is somebody who's brand new. And then once I realized you were taking it serious, I was like, well, this is somebody I can sort of talk to and bounce ideas off of. And she seems pretty cool. And then so I would hang out in your chat, and then you would come into my chat. I don't know why you come into my chat because my chat is full of like the more,
the boys club.
yeah, the boys club where they're not always like a PC. They're not always saying like the nicest things. But I love my chat, as stupid as they are.
He
Um,
loves you guys.
yeah, and we would go, yeah, we'd hop in each other's chat. So, and we got to know each other, and yeah, it was from the cosplay thing, and I'm not sure why your name is KiKi Kannon, but I remember that day you had a cannon, you made like a Mario cannon that
Yeah,
shot
and
like
it's interesting because you did cosplay and I did cosplay, but then like I was part of wrestling, and then you're kind of part of wrestling scene too.
right,
So
right, yeah, yeah, just a little bit,
I'm not
just
anymore, but
yeah, yeah, and I'm not really as involved right now either. So look at that, like it parallels, right? Yeah, because I am very close with someone who wrestles, and you know, I absolutely love professional wrestling, and it's very
yeah.
cool to get into that world. And for me, I don't think people give them enough credit for the stuff that they're able to pull off. Like,
Oh, right. It's
you
definitely
you can
admirable.
yeah, you can say it's not a sport all day, um, but the way that those guys are able to do the crazy stuff they do without getting hurt for the most part, like it's
Your
and they
partner knows what they're doing.
yeah.
That's the hope, right?
Yeah, they do it day in and day out. And it's like it's sort of like you know, I don't know. It's just to me, I love it. And there's nothing I think that gets me more excited than wrestling. Still to this day, even though like I watch it since I was a kid, and you'd think, you know, I'd be bored of it by now, I can still watch wrestling and still like absolutely be into it. Um, with a and so let me go back to the actual topic. So TwitchCon. So you're on stage. There's all these people in the crowd. You're up there. What do you in your head? How much of a chance did you give yourself of winning?
I don't know. Like, I don't, I think I was just so overwhelmed. It wasn't something I was thinking about. I think like just when you're so pushed to work and nonstop, and then I have a lot of I'm like I'm a very anxious person.
Right.
So like everything gives me anxiety. I'm worried about like, is my shit gonna break on the way from the airport? Is this gonna happen? And I'm gonna fall on stage. Like my mind isn't really there. I'm just constantly in like a different mindset of just. And you might be wondering like, well, why would you do this then if it's so stressful?
Right.
But there's a lot of nice parts to it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to
No,
explain
no,
it.
I
It's
think,
kind of a rush, and then it's kind of like motivational at the
yeah,
same time.
yeah, I think I mean, like I said, I'll make my parallels to like powerlifting and competing in like powerlifting. Um, that stuff is stressful because like when my first competition that I wanted to go into, like I just signed up just because I wanted to see if I could do it. But then I was like, after I signed up, I was like, oh, I actually need to take this serious. So then every time at the gym, it became from like just sort of doing my routine at the gym to like, oh man, I really need to like push myself at the gym day in, day out. And it's like as the thing gets closer, I'm like an anxious person too. So like as the competition gets closer, I'm like freaking out. Like,
Yeah,
do I have all my stuff ready? When it comes to the day, like, am I gonna be okay? Am I gonna go on this platform in front of these? Because powerlifting on like the smaller scale, there's not that many people. It's like 50 people in a room, right?
yeah,
But to me, it might as well have been 100,000 people in like a stadium, all focused on me. And it's like I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna lift my little weight, and they're gonna make fun of me. Like I think like all this stupid stuff.
right.
I'm gonna
You're worried
squat.
about,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna squat
you're gonna shit your pants.
my foot. Yeah. I'm gonna shit my pants while squatting. My legs gonna snap, and this thing's gonna land right on my neck, and they're just gonna laugh at me. They're not even gonna feel bad. They're just gonna be like, ah, you're an idiot. You shouldn't be doing this. You're trash. So yeah, I could definitely see like the anxiety that comes with competing and putting yourself out there, because
Yeah,
it's easy to do stuff for yourself, and it's easy to be like in your own little world. But once you're like presenting it to the world, like now you're opening yourself up to criticism and like people. And one thing that drives me personally nuts is people that don't know what they're talking about trying to tell you like certain things. So for me,
yeah,
like one of the examples that always sticks out in my head is like when I was training for my first competition, I was deadlifting, and I was deadlifting 405 pounds for reps, right? And this dude came up and he was like, "Hey man, you're lifting with your back, like you're gonna hurt yourself. That's not real good technique." And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right. Like I guess you know what you're talking about." And me, me being a real a hole, like I was like, so talking to him, and I was like, "How much do you deadlift?" He's like, "Oh, the most I've ever done is like 230." And I'm like, 230? I'm doing 405 for reps, and you're doing 230, and you're trying to tell me how to lift? I was like, there's no advice you can give me right now that I'm gonna listen to. Once he told me that, he like disqualified himself because I feel like he hasn't been to the same level. Like he hasn't put in the same amount of work, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. And like, why would I take advice? Like, there's some advice like yes, um, like if you are doing certain things and people can tell, just like general things are like, oh wow, like you're really gonna hurt yourself. That's unhealthy or something. That's okay, but there's certain things where I'm just like, yo, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And I don't want to be like that rude but in my head, I'm like, no, you just need to shut up and let me do what I'm doing because I know what I'm doing more than you do, buddy.
yeah.
So yeah.
I used to lift weights a lot, and this somebody was like, you should do weightlifting competitions," and I was like, "No, okay."
Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think about like doing a weightlifting competition? Were you ever that into it?
I mean, I liked working out. At one point, I did it a lot. At one point, I did it like 1 to 2 hours a day. I think it was like an escape for me for a while, but I just wanted to do it just to like, like as an escape. So I didn't want to make it a serious thing.
Right.
And then it would probably, like consume my life. I feel like people, and I think we talked about this before, but I feel like people have like many talents, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think people have many gifts and paths they can take. And if you want to be really good at something, it's really hard to do everything.
Yeah,
And even then, I still feel like I do a lot of things, and I feel like there's definitely a lot of things I cut out, you know.
yeah, I totally agree. If you want to be really good at something, um like if you're a jack of all trades, like you're probably
I
not.
still feel like a jack of all trades.
Yeah, if you're a jack of all trades, you're probably, I feel like, you you're not good at one specific thing if you're always trying to spread yourself out. And if you dedicate yourself to that one thing, you're like, who knows how far you can go. So I completely agree. It's hard to, and that's the thing with like Twitch. Like I feel like you understand where I come from with this. Like on Twitch, it's not just about turning on a stream and then just streaming stuff, because like anybody can do that. Anybody can just say, I'm just gonna play a game on Twitch and see what happens. If you
Some people do.
yeah, and if you're not like, at least in my opinion, if you're not like a top player in any, like if your skill level is not high, like why do I want to watch this dude or this female who doesn't know what they're doing stream versus like a top level player that I can learn from, you know?
Oh, chat wants to see Booty Poppins.
Chat wants to see what?
Booty Poppins.
Well, I don't know what.
So Booty Poppins is the trophy that you. So okay.
Yeah, so you got to explain this to me because I don't know what what you're talking about.
So my idol, the guy that I literally idolize,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I became a prop maker, he was the judge. He's the reason I became a prop maker. And I followed him for like 7 years, and I've never met this guy, right?
Okay.
And so he was one of the judges, and I was so anxious about meeting him. But he's also the maker of the trophy that you win. So it's like
Oh,
it was like super special to me. And
okay.
I'm not gonna get emotional,
Yeah.
but he made it on Twitch chat, and Twitch named it Booty Poppins
Oh.
because he told me the story behind it, that one day he was working on her and he was sanding her butt for like 7 hours straight. And so Twitch named her Booty Poppins.
So yeah, let's go back to that. So because I got a little bit sidetracked, and
Yeah,
we can bring up Booty Poppins to the camera here.
she's plugged in, but
Oh,
I can unplug her. She lights up.
that's absolutely incredible. I had no clue that thing lights up.
Yeah.
So Kiki's right now bringing Booty Poppins for you guys to see.
So he makes awards for like esports teams and stuff as well, like his shop does,
Mm-hmm.
and they do the TwitchCon trophy.
Wow, that actually looks so much more impressive. Like when you hold it up like that, because when they showed
There's
it
her
at
booty.
TwitchCon, you could when they showed
No,
it
it's nice.
when they showed it
Yeah.
on TwitchCon, you couldn't really see the detail in it. But like now that you're showing it here, like you can really see how good it
So it's
looks.
like she has like a needle and a thread kind
Yeah,
of, you
yeah,
know, for
I see that.
cosplay. It's like a, I don't know. Yeah, and all the other winners. So like his shop also did medals.
Right.
So and each medal was specialized to what their category was. So like Andy Ray, she won FX. I'm trying to remember what hers looked like. There was a picture of us together looking at our trophies, and I wish I had it. I wish I had sent it to you. Mine
Here,
had a shield. I
I'm
think
gonna show
mine,
a picture of you holding up your trophy right now that you sent me for the stream, so they can check it out. So this is KiKi Kannon right here at TwitchCon 2019 with her trophy. Uh, and I guess I jumped a little bit ahead here. Um,
my cord fell.
since
I
we
didn't
got
have to fish it out.
since we started talking about booty poppins. So before you got booty poppins, you were in the armor category. I asked you like, you know, what you thought your chances of winning were. You said you were overwhelmed. Um, you know, just like so much stuff going on, and you had worked so hard, just to get there. Um, but so when you won, and can you explain to people like there was an armor category that you could win, and then you could win what else?
So yeah, I'll explain that. So in the picture, there's the host Adam Savage there in the photo,
Hmm.
and then the guy next to him is Vulcan, uh, which is who I was excited about meeting, to be honest. So there isn't like a first, second, third. Um, so you're selected into your categories, right? So there's four people that get to be finalists from each category. And then if you win your category, like you have to win your category, right? And then since there's four categories, those four people move up, and then there's one winner. So technically, as a finalist, you're already a winner
Right.
if you made it as a finalist. And then if you win your category, you basically win, your category, and then there's just one overall winner. It's not really like a tiered for TwitchCon.
Right. And so you ended up winning,
Yeah,
which if you saw it live was like insane. You ended up winning your category, right?
right.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
how?
so I won my category, and then you have to wait for. Oh, and then there's a fan favorite I almost forgot. Um, so you could also, the audience could vote for who their favorite one was, and whichever person, anybody, whoever got the most votes won a fan favorite, which also they won like $4,000, I think, too.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it was
Let
a
me
nice
see.
costume.
Here's another picture of KiKi at TwitchCon for you guys to check out. Um, so you won the armor category, and then so when you won the armor category and you were up for the grand finals of TwitchCon 2019 cosplay contest, uh, the what was going through your head at that time?
I mean, it was, I don't know, like it was just so, I think it was just really quiet. I don't know. It was just very, so the people in the photo are the judges and the hosts. So the Martitia's Casey Renee cosplay. She's the winner of last year's TwitchCon. Then Vulpin Props a judge, and then the Moxie's Pocket, who is a Twitch streamer, and then you have Hinchman Studios, and then the Ray is a host, and you got Adam Savage there on the end.
And if in case you don't know who Adam Savage is, he's from MythBusters. It's a little show that used to be. Well, I don't know if it's still on, but it's just a little show called MythBusters. That's where Adam Savage is from.
He runs a show on YouTube now called Tested.
Oh, look at that! So you can see Adam Savage on YouTube on a show called
Yeah,
Tested.
he does a lot of stuff with cosplay. He's big in the cosplay community.
All right. So when you won, when they finally announced you as the winner, like how crazy was that? Like how I don't know because for me, so and I have like a like I can't I don't have it ready, and maybe I should have had it ready. But for me, seeing you win was like one of the craziest feelings. It's like seeing your friend win it all. Like like
Yeah,
I was like, wow, this is so. Oh, excuse my excuse. Okay,
yeah, it's great to see
I'm
your friends like succeed
yeah.
at something or someone that's been working, for a long time.
Right, yeah, and that's my thing. Like it wasn't just about you winning. It was like I know how hard you're working. I know how much time and effort you put into it. And so when they called you out and they were like the grand champion was KiKi Kannon, I lost it. I was like yelling.
Yeah.
It was late at night over here. I was like about to get kicked out
It's
of my
actually the first time I've ever won like a best in show for competing since 2003. It
wow.
was the first time I've ever like won a show before.
Hey, well what a great place to win, you know? Like
It
what
was a lot of it was a lot of firsts for me. So
yeah,
just all at once.
so yeah, so that experience must have been like absolutely incredible, yeah?
Yeah, it was hard to believe it happened.
It
It felt unreal.
yeah, I was just gonna say if it was me, I would have been like it. This can't be reality. Like
I still don't feel like it happened. I don't know if that makes sense.
no, yeah, that makes sense. That makes
I
sense.
feel
Like
like it just died and it wasn't real. I don't know. It's like something's too good to be true. It must be fake,
No,
right?
it was absolutely incredible. Like, and yeah, somebody asked if you cried. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
cried.
There's like a GIF I think I've seen of you that you're like wiping a tear,
It's the
right?
only award I've ever won where I cried. It was it was a lot to take in, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's a big time win. Like that's a big win on a big stage with how many viewers? You know, like um,
I don't even know how many people are watching. I don't want to think about it. I thought that it might.
it was tens of thousands. I can't remember exactly how many it was. I want to say either 20 or 30K, and I was like, this is crazy right now. Like this is crazy that you're on stage and you just won, and Adam Savage is there, and that's from my perspective. From your perspective, I didn't even know about Booty Poppins and like how much that meant to you. Like that, so
Yeah, it
that's
was
just
pretty
another
special
that's
for me.
another layer. Like that's cool. Um, so that Booty Poppins has special like more meaning to you. So that's
For sure. For sure.
that's incredible. Um,
Trophy is like,
yeah, I'm just sharing some images here.
oh, yeah. This is me looking like super serious because like this is like before judging, so I'm like, because you only have like they give you like a time limit of how much you can talk during judging. So I'm like gonna meet my idol for the first time, and I can't tell him that, you know what I mean? It's just unprofessional. I can't be like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with you. You know what I mean? I gotta just like act like everything. And I'm so you have like I think like 5 minutes or less to talk. I don't remember what the time was. It sounds like a lot of time, but it's really not. And so I'm just kind of in sheer panic before I go into the judging because this is like right before where I'm waiting. Oh, it is. It's 10 minutes. All right. Going Ape is also, she was larger than life. She's in chat right now. So she says it's 10 minutes. It didn't feel like 10 minutes. I felt like I was in there for like 30 seconds. It was like unreal. And then there's Nagisake in the background with her awesome cosplay. I believe it's from World of Warcraft. But I go in there and I feel like I'm quiet at first, right? Because I'm just like, oh my God, you know, it's overwhelming. And Vulpin is like, because I'm a little quiet and he's asking me questions and I'm answering, and he's like, you know, I run a shop and I know how to do all these things. You can talk technical to me and stuff. And I'm just looking and I'm like, yeah, because I can't really say anything because it's unprofessional, you know.
Right.
And yeah, I was terrified. I thought I did terrible after the judging. I thought, oh my God, I messed this up. There's things I missed that I didn't talk about. You know what I mean? You're just like nervous.
Right. Like you as much stuff and as much work as you put into it, you probably uh definitely feel like you didn't have enough time, and there was probably stuff that you missed, like, and you're probably
Yeah,
like, oh man, like afterwards you're like, oh man, I really wish I would have said this thing because I didn't say this thing, like it's gonna
right.
cost me.
Yeah, like Ape says, generally you have like 2 to 5 minutes in a craftsmanship judging, and it's kind of true. Like normally in like regular contests, you don't really have a lot of time. It's even shorter than that.
Right.
Um, 10 minutes is more generous than a lot of contests, but like some contests, like regular contests, will have like 200 people sometimes. And so there's just not enough time to do all the judging in a day. So they got to cram everybody in there. So the contest did really good. Like they scheduled you out. You had a time slot. You knew what time you needed to get ready. You knew what time you needed to be down there. Like I basically woke up at like 6 or 7 a.m. I carried my stuff there, and we all are in this room. We call it a green room. It's basically where you get dressed and get ready. And they had like food catered and stuff. So it was really nice. I was a little bit anxious to eat, but I still ate something. So it was nice that it was there. And yeah, yeah, I looked terrified because I was terrified.
All right. Speaking of the green room, did you? So you sent me a picture that we talked about, I think earlier today. Is that picture from the green room? If you know what I'm talking about. I sort of want to show it without.
No, that's oh yeah, that one is.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to show this to everybody and just sort of share this with everyone, because I thought it was interesting. So check this out. So Kiki sent me this picture earlier today. She said I could share it with everybody.
Yeah.
So can you explain what is happening in this in this photo right here?
So like when I had to carry my costume from the hotel, because my hotel was pretty far away, so I had to drive. Uh, I had to carry it in luggage, so I wrapped it all up using the cushion from the bed. And I was so nervous before judging, I couldn't eat or sleep or do anything. So I had that in my luggage, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna lay it down." My costume is very like cumbersome, and I had hours before I had to walk the stage. So I said, "Well, I'm just gonna take it off and lay down." And everybody said I look like the Wicked Witch of the West with
Yeah.
my like hanging out. So that was a ongoing joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just checked out before I had to go on stage.
Yeah, well, at least you got a little break before you went up there. Yeah, you sent me that, and I was like, that's what my reaction was too. I was like, it's funny because you could see like your gear sticking out of the bottom of the blanket, and
Yeah, I was so tired.
all right, yeah. So yeah, and there's another picture. Yeah, there's another picture I wanted to show that you sent me of the
I don't
crowd.
I don't have too many photos. I didn't know if you were going to actually share a video of the contest or not.
Yeah, not
I could have sent you the video
I sort of regret not having it queued up and ready
because
to
I
go.
figured that you have your own video, but I didn't know if you wanted to use that.
No, I should have. I should have queued that up so I could show people. But I'd rather, um, I'd rather show just the. If you go on Twitch or if you go on YouTube, you can see it. You can see where Kiki won TwitchCon 2019.
You don't want to play your clip?
Not, I'm not. I'm trying to save people's ears, so I don't.
You could just put it right behind us.
It's gonna be loud. No, I just don't have it ready. I just don't have it. If I had it ready, if I would have thought about it, I would have definitely like shared it. Because like I said, and there's some people in the chat right now, and me and myself, it was just like crazy. It was crazy. It was surreal from our standpoint. So I can't even imagine like what it was like from your point of view. And so, can you explain a little bit about this photo right here that is on the screen right now? It's like you're on
I mean,
stage.
that's the end of the contest, pretty much. You know, when they're like, you won. I don't know. I mean, and yeah, so that's why people are kind of seeing their way out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a pretty big stage, though. It's pretty cool. Like it was, yeah.
How many people do you think? I don't know if they told you the number, but do you know how many people were there live
No,
watching?
if they told me numbers, I'd freak out. No, I don't. I have no idea. When I'm on stage, it's actually really hard to like see people, so it makes it easier for me. Like I still have a lot of stage fright, but it's easier because like when you're looking out, you can't really see anybody. You just kind of see lights.
Right,
So if you just try to imagine that no one's there,
I'm assuming the crowd was like dimly lit compared to like the stage, so it probably made it a little bit easier to.
you can't really see. At least I didn't. At least I never do. I can never really see the audience when I'm on stage, so it's less nerve-wracking.
So what? So after you win, like what was it? What happened after you won? You got your booty poppins. You got some dough.
And
Uh,
yeah, I went to the creative suite. So at TwitchCon, there's a guy F FX, and every TwitchCon he rents like a suite for like the artist community to like hang out and drink together. So I went there and hung out and I drank way too much. I don't mean like a little bit. I remember like I don't. I when I when I was walking, it was literally like zigzag.
Hey, well, you were celebrating a huge win. Like I would have been trashed. I've gotten drunk for no reason.
Yeah.
So like, what better reason to get drunk than
I didn't eat much that day, so it didn't take very much, and I
yeah.
think it hit me pretty fast.
Yeah, that's cool. And
But I got
so,
to meet a
right,
lot of streamers through the Creative Suite.
it's very cool. Now, after TwitchCon, so you won TwitchCon, you did the whole shebang. After that, like what's next for KiKi Kannon, as far as like, I don't know, what's your goals? Like, do you have anything coming up next that you're working on? I know you're always sharing things on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. You just put up a photo with the stained glass window, which if you haven't seen it, everybody should go check it out. What is next? What is next for you?
I mean, I'm gonna keep streaming on Twitch. I hope to do more with my Twitch channel for sure. Um, it would be great to do another really big costume build and go compete at another contest. So if you just sub or give me bits or don't, I'm just saying I would be able to do that. Just throwing that out there. Uh, am I building a church? Actually, I have my stained glass windows in this room, right? This is where I shoot video. This is where I do my photo shoots. So yeah, I have those stained glass windows. I mean, I have a goal to compete at C2E2 because I think it would be really cool. I don't know if I'll make it. It's like a year from now, but I don't know if I'll be able to do the project in time or have enough funds for it. But trying to grow my YouTube and my Twitch to help fund maybe doing more projects like that because I don't really get to do that. I don't really get to make personal projects very often. It's pretty rare.
So if you are going to C2E2, everybody should be on notice, huh? I'm just talking trash for you. I'm just talking trash for you. I know you're very humble. I'm just talking for you. So
I don't know, man. There's a lot of that one's a little different than Twitch. The money isn't as big, but it's more like people compete from around the world, so
no,
you get to compete with people from other countries.
no, would you say that the C2 like is the C2E2 a bigger in the cosplay community? Is it a bigger event for cosplay? Like, is it more, I guess,
I think
prestigious or anything?
I,
Or
I think it gives more people opportunity, right? So because you have a wider range of people you can reach, I think in that sense it could be considered more competitive. But I mean, it's hard to really say. You know what I mean? Because TwitchCon, it's like the U.S., some of Canada, where C2E2's many countries. So I think it's definitely when you have your top people at each country coming together, there's a lot of talented people in other countries.
right,
So that's a I don't know.
you got a
It's
bigger
pretty
pool, tougher competition. Sounds like
maybe I don't
maybe
know.
no. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just asking because I don't know.
When everybody's at the top, it's like everybody's good,
Right.
Everybody's really good, and it's hard. It
If you
gets
could,
tight.
if you could compete in one competition, like your dream competition, is there any one event that you would want to go to? Was
I
there
mean,
any
right now, just that one.
C2E2? That's the one.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if anybody listening, KiKi Kannon streams on Twitch, and if you want to support her and help her reach her dreams of competing at C2E2, definitely feel free to go to her channel, give her support, follow her on Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Pretty
what I wanted to do, and I already told you about this, if you had a message like inspirational or positive message
much.
that
You wanted me to clip this into this? Yeah, you're gonna have to edit
I'll
it.
edit it. Yeah, I'll edit it. So if you had something like positive or like some advice, something to encourage people, like do you have anything that you want to say to anybody that is out there listening or watching?
Oh my God.
Doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like the most amazing inspirational quote in the world. Just like if off the top of your head, if there's anything you could just tell people, um, maybe a
Don't
cause.
ever just Don't overthink it. Just do it, I guess.
Hey, there you go. That's it. That's good advice. That's my dad yells at me, "Don't think" all the time. So hey,
Yeah, I tell you that too all the time. I
yeah, yeah,
say,
yeah. You told me, yeah. No,
I keep telling you, like, stop overthinking it. Just do it.
it's great advice because I think a lot of times, especially someone like me, you can get in your head and you create all these scenarios, and it's all just like what if. It's like you could sit there and think about it all day, but if you just do it, it's done. Like it's not, I don't know. I agree with you completely. So can you are, and where can we find you?
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah, you.
KiKi Kannon.
And we can find you where?
All social media. It's the same. KiKi
Yeah,
Kannon.
yeah. Twitch,
Twitch,
Instagram,
Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter,
Twitter,
YouTube.
YouTube.
And your website and your
Yeah,
store.
you just go to my website, www.kikikannon.com.
All right, phenomenal.
Yeah.